Hi, this lesson is on our negative numbers practice test questions. So I'm going to go through all the questions and you can use this to mark your work. And if there's anything you weren't sure about, I'll explain the questions for you. So first one says, on the number line below, mark all the integers greater than -3, but less than or equal to 2. So greater than -3 doesn't include -3. So we won't mark -3. And then the last part says less than or equal to 2. So that includes 2. So we can mark 2 and everything in between -3 and 2. But we don't mark -3. So that's it. With number 2, it says calculate each of the following. So our first operation is addition. So -2 plus 4. Remember, if you can't do this mentally, use a number line. So if I start at -2 plus 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm at +2. Oh, yep. 5 take away 8. 5 is smaller, so we go below 0. So we'll be in -3. -5 take away 5. Because I'm starting with a negative and subtracting another number, I add them. 5 plus 5 is 10, but it's a -10. -9 plus 1, I head in the positive direction, so that'll be -8. Now my operations here are division and multiplication. So we first determine whether our answer will be positive or negative by looking at how many negatives we have. So 2 negatives is even. An even amount would be positive. Or we can say 2 negatives will come together to make a positive. And 4 divided by 2 is just 2. Here I've only got 1 negative. 1's an odd number, so the negative is stuck there. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. Here I've got 2 negatives that make a positive, and 2 times 7 is 14, so the positive can be invisible. And here 1 negative, and 9 times 1 is 9, so -9. All right, insert the symbol less than or greater than in between the following pairs of integers to make true mathematical statements. All right, so if you get stuck with these, you can use a number line to help you, or think of temperature. So if it's 4 degrees is warmer than -7, so 4 is greater than -7. B, -5 is colder or less than -1, so you should have less than there. And C, -6 is warmer or greater than -8. Okay, so it might be useful thinking of it as temperature. But once again, use your number line, and the one closer to the positive end is greater than. All right, this one says arrange the following in descending order. Now, if you ever get stuck on these, I've got a number line I quickly drew up. So imagine on a test, you just draw a quick number line. All you got to do is put these numbers on your number line, and they're basically in the order. They're ordered for you, and you have to write them in descending order. So remember, D for down. Okay, so if we start from up, the top, and we come down, that means we're going from highest or largest to smallest. Alrighty, so if I've got a +2, and I've got a -5, and a 0, there's my 0, -8 down there, 10 is up here, +10, 4, and -2. Just by marking them on a number line, I've put them in order. Now, depending if I start from -8 and make my way up, okay, or starting from 10 and make my way down, depends on whether it's descending or ascending. So I want to start from the largest and make my way down. So I'll start from the largest, the positive end, and head down this way. So let's write the numbers now. So I've got -10, so -10, 4, 2, oh sorry, -10, +10, 4, 2, and then 0, -2, 0, -2, -3, and -5 and -8. Alrighty, so descending, so from largest to smallest, and make sure you write them in the correct order. All right, with number 5, here I can see for all of these, we've got 2 signs sitting together. So our first step is to turn the 2 signs into 1. Those brackets don't have to be there. So I'm going to rewrite it as -2. 2 positives make a positive, so -2 plus 6. Here, a positive and a negative we say make a negative. Or in this case, it becomes 5 take away 3. Over here, got a plus there because 2 negatives make a positive, so 3 plus 3. And over here, I'll have negative 9. These two become subtraction. All right, so my first step's done for all of them. And now we just work it out. Negative 2 plus 6 is positive 4. 5 take away 3 is 2. 3 plus 3 is 6. And negative 9 take away 10. So that's 10 plus 9, which is 19, but on the negative end. And there we go. Now on our next page, we're back to 1, so I guess this is sort of part B. It says fill in the missing numbers. So 4 plus something to give me 6. Well, I know that's 2. With B, now we've got 2 plus something, and we finish at a negative 1. Okay, so a number line may be useful for this as well. So I've got a number line ready just in case I need it. Alrighty, so if we start at 2, a positive 2, and we want to end up at a negative 1, we have to subtract. Okay, so if I start at positive 2 and I end up at negative 1, I know I need to subtract. So I have to have a negative number in here, okay, because a positive and a negative will make a negative. And I have to go down 1, 2, 3. So it'll have to be a minus 3, okay? So 2 plus a negative 3 will give me negative 1. With C, the operation is subtraction. Now, I don't know my starting number, but I have to finish at negative 5. So the trick is, let's first turn these two into a positive, just to help us. So it's going to be something plus 3 to give me negative 5. So on my number line, I'm going to go find negative 5. That's where I finish at. All right. And if I'll be adding a 3, I have to go backwards 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. So that means I start at negative 8. Because negative 8 plus 3, 1, 2, 3, will give me negative 5. I have to start backwards, further back. And that has to be a negative 8 because I end up with plus. Now over here, I've got multiplication, so times and times, they're my operations. And I finish at negative 20. So first tip is, because we're multiplying everything, I need to have an odd amount of negatives. So I'm going to add a negative here because 1, 2, 3 negatives makes a negative. There's my negative 20, my negative. And then 2 times what times 1 gives me 20. Well, 1's not going to change anything, but I know I need a 10 because 2 times 10 is 20. So the answer would be negative 10. All right, state the difference between negative 2 and 6. We know difference is the space between two numbers, and we can use subtraction. You could also use a number line to help you. If I use a number line, I'll just locate. So I've got negative 2 there, and I've got negative 6. So the space between these two would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I use a number line for that one. So there's 4 units between them. With B, one's a positive, one's a negative. Once again, you can use a number line. If I use subtraction is larger, take away smaller. Okay, so I have larger is 1, take away a negative 5. I can see what happens. It becomes 1 plus 5. So the difference equals 6. There's 6 units between them. And you can use a number line if that was tricky. All right, using your knowledge of the order operations, calculate the following. So this one I can see I'm adding and subtracting. So my first step is make 2 signs to become 1. So I end up with negative 10. They become a takeaway. They become a positive or plus. And then work left to right. Negative 10 take away 5 would be negative 15 plus 5. Negative 15 plus 5 is negative 10. So we end up at negative 10. With B, brackets first, 2 take away 5 is minus 3 or negative 3. So I end up with 2 times a negative 3. That leaves me with negative 6. E, there's invisible brackets there. I'll do the calculation first. So 100 divided by 1 negative, so negative 50. Now, the whole thing has 1 negative. That line means division. I'll just squeeze it here. So my answer will be negative. Now, at this point, you can just do mental maths. 100 divided by 50. How many 50s in 100? That's 2. You could also cancel your zeros and have 10 divided by 5, but we still end up with 2. That should be a negative 2 because there's only 1 negative. With G, I've got a range of operations. I've got subtraction, multiplication, subtraction, and division. So I know multiplication and division happen first. So I'll put brackets around both of those and I'll work out those first. So I'll end up with, well, 2 times 7 is 14, and 18 divided by 6 is, 18 divided by negative 6 is negative 3. And I'll rewrite what I've got left. So 12 take away 14, take away, so remember that's a negative 3. If you still want to write brackets around the negative 3, you can. And I can see the two negatives make a positive. So I've got 12 take away 14 plus 3. And 12 take away 14, so working left to right, is a negative 2 plus 3, which leaves me with a positive 1 for that one. All right, these ones here, see, negative 2 take away 4, so brackets first, is negative 6 times 4 take away 3 is 1. That leaves me with negative 6. Here, brackets first. In my brackets, I see two signs together. They become subtraction. And then 10 take away 5 leaves me with, I'll do my brackets. So 10 take away 5 leaves me with 5. And then that equals negative 7. Over here, everything's being multiplied. So first, will my answer be positive or negative? Let's count our negatives. 1, 2, 3. It's an odd amount, so the answer is negative. And then just times everything. I'm going to ignore my ones because they won't change anything. But 2 times 2, if it helps, you can just write it here. I've got 2 times 2 times 2 times another 2. That leaves me with negative 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. And the last one for this part, we've got brackets. So 2 plus 7 is first. It gives me a 9. So let's rewrite it. 15 take away 9, take away 10 divided by negative 1. And I know division comes before subtraction. So I've got to do that bit first. And that leaves me with 10 divided by negative 1 is negative 10. So I've got 15, take away 9. Now, let's just be careful. We've got a take away here. We've got a copy. And then also a negative 10 that we calculated in the brackets. All right. And then we can see two negatives make a positive. So we've got 15, take away 9, plus 10. And the last bit, left to right, 15 take away 9 leaves me with 6. And 6 plus 10 is 16. So that one was 16. All right, let's continue. Let's go to the application section. All right, so with the application section, it says the product of two negative numbers is, so it says complete each of the following statement by writing the words positive or negative. All right, so product means we multiply, quotient means we divide. So if I divide two negatives, the answer will be positive. Two negatives make a positive. Just write the word positive. The product of a positive, so if I go positive times a negative, the answer will be negative. The quotient of two negative numbers is, so division, so negative divided by negative gives me a positive, or just write the word positive. And the quotient of a negative divided by a positive, a negative and a positive make a negative. Okay, that was pretty straightforward. Now, number 2, a submarine 50 metres below sea level. And the text, a plane flying directly above it. The equipment on board the submarine estimates the aircraft is 170 metres away. Aircraft just means a plane. So it says draw a diagram that shows a submarine, plane and sea level. So sea level we know is at 0. If you want to do it as a wave, so that can be 0 metres because our question's got metres. Now the submarine, you can draw a submarine. I'm just going to write submarine or sub. That tells us it's 50 metres below sea level. So that's at 50 metres. So below sea level, if you want to show that, okay? Now the plane is directly above the submarine. So from the submarine up to the sky, we've got 170 metres. So that's where the plane is. Okay, so from here to the plane, it's 170 metres. Submarines at 50 metres, and that's sea level. If you want to write sea level, you can as well. Alrighty. Now, what is the height of the plane above sea level? So the plane is up here. We know it's 170 meters away from the submarine, and then the submarine to the sea level is 50 meters. So that means the plane, the difference from here to here would be 170 take away 50. And 170 take away 50 leaves me with 120 meters. Okay? So from the plane to sea level is that distance is 120 meters. All right. 3, Lachlan has overdrawn his bank account by $26. Now, overdraw means he's taken out more money than he owes, so he's in debt. So represent this amount as an integer. So it should be negative $26. That will be on his bank statement. Negative means he owes money. Lachlan deposits $40 into his account. Write an expression that can be used to calculate the new account balance. So he's at negative $26. He adds $40, so plus 40. So negative 26 plus 40 leaves me with a positive $14. So he's no longer in debt. What is his new account balance? We can just say positive $14. So positive means it's his money. And number 4, this will be our last one for this section, for this video. So just make sure you had to go first. So for Plato, so BC means before Christ. So that we consider BC as negative, if it helps, the negative end, AD as the positive end. Okay. So imagine a timeline has 0, even though it technically doesn't. It still has to have 0 to calculate time differences. Now, how long did Plato live for? So Plato, these two numbers are in the negative end. They're both in BC. So what's the difference between these two numbers? So all we got to do is go, all right, 347, larger number on top. 427 is larger. Take away 347. So 7 take away 7 is 0. I can't go 2 take away 4, so take from that. That becomes a 3. 12 take away 4 is 8, and that's just 0. So I ended up with 80 years. So he died at 80 years. Okay? That's how long he lived for. Now, how many years after Plato died was Descartes born? So Plato died, he died at 347 BC. So I'll just draw a quick timeline. So I've got, he's at 347 BC. That's when Plato died. And he was born 1596 AD, which is over here. So drawing a quick timeline, so AD is a positive end. So basically, how many years between them? So that plus that. Okay, so 347 plus 1,596 leaves us with 1,940. So just add them. 1,945. Whoops. I'll write it again. 1,945 years. So that's how many years after Plato died and he was born. Thank you.